Hey everybody, and welcome back to another lecture with Coding with Roby. And in this lecture, we're going to create an add-to-do function within our todos.py file and to allow our add-to-do.html file to submit a new to-do so we can add it to the database. Let's start by opening up our todos.py file, and let's scroll down until we can see our add-to-do API with our add new to-do. So this function, add new to do, brings us to our add to do page. So we're going to have to create a new function right under this add new to do that handles the posts of add to do to submit new to dos. So right under add new to do, let's create a new router of @router.post. And we're going to name it the exact same thing as the .get of add to do, and we're going to make the response class HTML response. We're then going to create a new function of async def create to do, and inside here we're going to pass in request of type request, and I'm going to scroll back to the top to import form from FastAPI. And now I'm going to scroll back down and create title of type string equals form, parenthesis, and 3 dots. And then I'm going to say description of type string equals form. Priority of type int equals form. And then we're going to create our DB session of DB of type session equals depends get DB. And now here let's create a new to-do model which equals models.todos. To-do model.title is going to equal our title that we're passing in. To-do model.description is going to equal our description from our parameters. To-do model.priority is going to come from our parameters. And then our to-do model.complete, we're just going to start as false and define it as the false in the code because they want to be creating a to-do that's true and already complete. So let's just say it's false. And then to-do model.ownerID, we're just going to say is 1 for right now until we implement authentication. And now let's say db.add our to-do model, and then db.commit, which will save our model. And then here we're going to use return redirect response. And redirect response will redirect us back to a specific API, which will call the function instead of redirecting us to a specific page. And we're going to have to import redirect response. So at the very top of our page, let's say from starlette.responses, import redirect response. And while we're here, we have to do another import from starlette, import status. And now let's scroll back down to our API. So return redirect response, URL of /todos, status code equals status.http 302 found. And this status code is needed to make sure our API is calling a GET request. So our to-dos is going to be calling a GET to-dos, which again is just going to render our home page. But this time it should have a new to-do because we're saving a new to-do to the database. All right, so when this router.post is called, we're calling the add to do which is different than this add to do because they're different HTTP request methods. We're going to be returning a response class of HTML response. This function is called create to do, where we're going to be passing in a title, description, and priority. And then we're going to be creating a new to-do model with that information and then saving it to the database and then going and calling our get to do's API path. Let's jump back into our project and open up our add-todo.html. And now one of the only things we have to add, because we already have a form created, is we need to say method equals post. This will now submit and call a post method of whatever the URL we currently are under. So within our to-dos, when we say add to do, we're going to add to do.html, which is going to be add to do. Now the form, now that the method is going to be post, it's going to be doing this exact same add to do because we're already on that URL, but just making it a post, which is going to call the exact same API route, but of a different HTTP request method. Let's make sure our server is running, and let's open up our application and refresh. Let's now go to our add to do page. And let's fill this out. So we're going to say the title is get new phone, description, my phone is broken, with a priority of 5. And there we have it. The application redirects us back to our to-dos page, and now we have get new phone as a new to-do under the user 1. Now one bug we can see is our add a new to-do doesn't redirect us to that page. Let's open up our home.html page, scroll to the bottom until you can see add a new to-do. We can see the href is just pointing to an empty URL. Let's change this to add-to-do. Save the application and reopen up our browser, refresh, and now when you click add a new to-do, it redirects you to the new to-do, and if you fill this out, it redirects you back to the to-dos page with a new to-do. This wraps up the lecture on creating a new to-do within our web application, and I will see you in the next video.